You're an ancient being from the earliest age of the universe, traveling galaxies to live among developing species in disguise. As you're preparing to leave Earth the following morning, a knock at your door turns out to be a human child dressed up as your true form. Trick or treat. The launches of the last sections of the space elevator were truly magnificent. Those happened in spring and heralds in the species' return to the galaxy. My new human form has taken some getting used to, and I can't wait for the time when I can throw it off and return home. If I didn't know any better, I'd think that this small human was mocking my desires, or knew something they shouldn't about who I am and my purpose here. Preposterous, I say quietly. Trick or treat? They say it again, but it is more of a question this time. Sorry, a feminine voice calls from the sidewalk. I didn't see any lights out, but he got away from me. Another human approaches. Her body is long and she is dressed all in black. There is, however, an exception. Her head is topped with a bulbous, orange mass. What is the meaning of all this? I ask her. Perhaps my voice gives away my startlement, but she pretends not to notice. It's Halloween, isn't it? The decorations and the costumes. Though, she taps her lips, we might just be a little early. I live just next door, I'm Henrietta, she says with an outstretched hand. I recognize the mannerism. A handshake. I learned this one early on and now I extend my hand in turn to clasp and shake. These other aspects I'm not familiar with. I ask, Halloween? I've never participated in this ritual. Could you tell me more about it? The small vulpine human starts tugging on the woman's sleeve and she says, I suppose. I don't think he's going to let me stay here long if you don't have any candy. That's what the trick-or-treaters want. Reading her face is difficult with the mask on, so I can't tell if she is joking. Small humans running around the neighborhood asking for candy would be a sight even without the costumes. I wonder what the old couple down the street will think of all this. If it is candy you seek, I shall procure some for you. I turn back into the house and find some of my snacks on the top shelf of the cupboard. It is a wonder that this body hasn't gained more weight with all of the excess I have enjoyed. A small twang of separation anxiety swells, but I squash it down with excitement for being back among my own kind. As I approach the door, I notice that another young human has come. Trick or treat. They call. Just like the first one, but perhaps with a subtle tonal shift. I suppose the two of you will have to share, I tell them. They hold up bags and drop in an individually packaged mint to each bag. What are you supposed to be, some kind of bed linen? I ask the new child. Hey. I'm a ghost, they say. Then, quickly closing their bag, they run off. You've really never done Halloween? The woman asks as her little human runs off. Never, I confirm. You should come with us, I can tell you all about it. Truly, it is one of my favorite holidays. Right, I say, just let me lock up. I am eager to hear an expert's knowledge about your customs. I quickly grab my keys then close and lock the door to the small building I commandeered upon arrival. All right, but you will have to catch up. She starts walking in the direction the other one went. I lumber along the path and have to jog a bit to catch up. Where are we going next? I ask. Just around the neighborhood. Not everyone decorates and only the kids trick or treat. Them and their parents, I suppose. These decorations, do they make reference to some great event in your history? I am especially curious about your kid's costume and if it has some cultural significance. Not especially, she says, most of these are from movies. Take the Smith's house. She points to the neighbor on my other side. We pause as her kid trick or treats their front door. The Smiths always decorate with spiders and cobwebs. It is just meant to be a little creepy. I was wondering why they had let their home fall to ruin. Of course, venomous predators the size of a bush would be enough to keep anyone away. Now that you say something, I don't believe that I've ever seen those giant spiders move. We start to move to the next house, following the children as the trick-or-treat has finished. She laughs lightly, shaking the orange protrusion back and forth. And what are you and your child dressed up as? Neither of you seem very creepy. She scoffs. Well, I'll give you that the fox costume is much cuter than it is scary. But, the Pumpkin King is nothing to be laughed at. Oh. It is a pumpkin on your shoulders. I must comment, however, you cannot be the Pumpkin King. Are you sure that you are not a Pumpkin Queen? I try to make a joke using my advanced knowledge of her language, but it falls flat. Does your planet have that and that? I wave towards her kid and her giant pumpkin-shaped head. Sort of. We have foxes, but they usually scoot around on all fours and they only have one tail. The nine-tailed fox is more of a myth than a reality. The Pumpkin King is absolutely a myth, but much newer and more grotesque. We pause at another home, this one decorated with more bed linens. It is a time of sharing myths, then? It happens, though usually on TV more than in person. What is the myth of the bed linens? I take it you also haven't heard of ghosts? No, what is a ghost? It is the spirit, or essence, of a human after they die. She says it casually, like a fact. You are telling me that humans can never die or that you are able to visit living humans after you die? Whoa there. Some people might believe that, but not me. I'm an assemblage of material and once the assembly wears out, I'm gone. We start moving again. Oh, that is good to learn. Where might I find more information about these myths? Is there a teacher nearby that I could contact? I am relieved to learn that humanity will not be bringing legions of their dead to the galaxy. You've got to be kidding me. No, I say. Although her voice sounds bemused, I feel it necessary to continue. I would very much like to learn more about your mythology. This has been interesting, but now I know you are pulling my leg. Halloween is one thing, there are lots of people that don't celebrate it. But, you have to know about the internet. For a moment, I look at her blankly as we stop again. This time the house is decorated with mutilated corpses. I look closer and note that they are just as fake as the spiders, but shudder just the same. The giant system of computers that hold all of the knowledge that humanity now possesses. You haven't heard of it? I have not. Well, maybe try a library then, I'm sure they will be open tomorrow. Her voice is sardonic, clearly only continuing the conversation to a more complete stopping point. Well, you should head back now, this is going to be a long night and I don't like being made fun of. She waves, indicating her desire to leave as she runs away to join her kid at the door. Stopping, I try to run through my words and discover several things that might have been worded differently to acquire more knowledge of her. In my desperation, I must have asked for too much too fast. Turning, I begin the short trip back to my house. More trick-or-treaters pass in all kinds of costumes. A few are dressed as corpses. There's also the occasional robot and many caped figures. I am lost in thought, pondering on the different myths of humanity, and I wonder if I can somehow gain access to the internet of computers. A robot passes and I ask, "Excuse me, do you know how I might access the internet?" "Oh," they say as they grab for a pocket, "did you forget your phone? Here, you can borrow mine." "Thanks," I say as I hold their primitive technology in my fist. "Can you show me how to access information from the internet with your phone?" Sure, but you have to give me some candy for it. You're burning my time here." "Yes, I will give you all the candy I have in my cupboard. My house is just here." I point to the house and the small robot follows me to the door. "Wait here while I get the candy. While I fetch it, would you gather all of the information you have on the nine-tailed fox?"